We're back with former acting Solicitor General of the United States, Neil Katyal. We just went through the reporting of what Barr has done. Neil, why?
Well, this is about as grave as it gets, Ari. This testimony that we've seen that's going to come out tomorrow, we have the written copy of it, and it really is a bombshell. I think any attorney general, frankly, any president, when faced with this story, should be resigning. And I don't say that lightly, but the most sacred duty you have as attorney general or the president is to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, to use the words of our Constitution. And all law enforcement systems depend on the even-handed administration of justice. I mean, that's true even if you got like 2 kids and you discipline one for, taking cookies out of the cookie jar. They're going to say, hey, that's not fair. You didn't go after my brother or sister or whatever. And when you're talking about massive things like law enforcement and putting people in jail and punishing them, the system depends. The rock of the system is even-handedness. And, I was privileged to serve in 2 different administrations, and I saw that even-handedness every day in both of them. Just to give you one very clear example, imagine that this would happen today, that, in the Clinton administration, Rostenkowski, the member of Congress, was one of the President Clinton's closest allies and was running, for example, the health care legislation and all sorts of stuff. But they discovered he was engaged in wrongdoing. And that U.S. attorney, a guy named Eric Holder, went and prosecuted Rostenkowski with no interference whatsoever from the White House, not a word. And by the way, Holder at that point held the exact same position as these folks who are being accused now of misdeeds, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. And no pressure from the Attorney General at the time, Janet Reno. He was able to do his job. That is the Justice Department. It was the Justice Department under Obama, under Bush, under Clinton. But these folks have thrown out that rule book and are bent on destroying the department.
And I know you take no joy in that scenario, because I know how hard you've worked for that department, Neil, and literally represented the United States before the Supreme Court. No small matter. You mentioned the calls, the idea that any other attorney general would have to resign. We've seen, no one points to the Bush administration as some high watermark for dotting every, I and T on law. But even then, Attorney General Gonzalez ultimately, as you say, did resign when caught with certain things regarding allegations of impropriety and meddling. That's what people from Barr's own alma mater are now saying. We just got this story late today. Members of the George Washington University Law School faculty, this may sting extra given that that's where he went to law school, saying his actions can pose and create a clear and present danger. He's besmirched the basic values of our law school. And so, Neil, my next question for you is a little more slightly legal personal, which is sometimes on the outside we wonder, well, what affects people? What do they care about? And there are certain people who are more affected by their own peer group, particularly in fields of expertise. I'm curious what you think both the significance of this is and whether it's the kind of thing Barr may notice.
Well, it wasn't just the GW faculty. I see today also the New York City Bar and hundreds of prosecutors calling for his resignation, and particularly after the events that you were discussing over the weekend about in the Southern District of New York. This is incredibly troubling. And, I just think that the Attorney General, I think everyone I served with at the Justice Department, the mission wasn't about them. The mission wasn't about the president. It was about protecting the rule of law. And that's why you see this career prosecutor coming forward and saying what he's saying, which has got to be one of the most difficult things one could imagine. And so I am aghast at the fact that our Justice Department is doing this. They're torching its legacy and making it really hard for those who come afterwards. And I think one of the most important things about this testimony tomorrow, as I say, we've already seen it, it points to documents and written records. So you don't just have to take the word of this prosecutor who's enormously well respected on both sides, a career prosecutor. He says there are written documents that document what he's saying. And so Congress has got to call for those. One of the things I've been frustrated with when you were asking about Barr's motivations, Ari, I mean, I don't think the Congress has done a particularly good job of oversight. I don't understand why Barr hasn't been forced to testify. I don't understand why the House of Representatives keeps on funding this Justice Department when they act in such a lawless way. I don't understand why the subpoenas haven't been issued yet. So, I think, the first and most the culpable parties, of course, that the Justice Department and the president. But I do think that the House has something to bear here, and the Senate as well.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the points there, and you certainly know the ins and outs of how the DOJ responds, and your point that there may not be enough assertive acuity with regard to getting those answers, getting that done, doing that oversight is an interesting point. Neil, as always, we benefit from your experience and wisdom here tonight. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.